Another rainy day here in London. How are you? Tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. This Today we have a very beautiful topic to discuss. But as you're joining me, tell me your name and your city. So we're looking at a very beautiful topic: how to overcome fear of losing money through passive income. Being able to use the time to inform, to educate, and to teach. Okay? So my first question would be, how many of us have lost money while trying to invest before, right? You gave an individual your money, you gave a company your money that they should invest for you, and they were going to be giving you money returns, ROI, either monthly or yearly, and you lost money. Now, I'm not talking about you bought a house or you bought a land and you are not allocated. That's not the same thing. I'm talking about a situation where you gave money to an individual or to a company and they said, oh, you know what, we'll be trading Forex for you, we'll give you some return, or we'll trade crypto, or we'll do real estate and then we'll give you returns from what we make from it. And you gave them your money and you lost both the interest and you lost the capital. Has anybody been there? If you've been in this situation, just type me. So I love a very interactive class. For those of you who are probably new to my page, when I do shows like this, I love us to engage. I love to ask questions. I love to get an answer. One, it helps me to know you are following me. Two, it helps me to also enjoy the conversation. Okay, so I can see baby TZ has had that, K has had that experience. Says I have. For Forex, I waited and didn't see anything. Okay, Ellen Garments says I have a friend who has lost money on such investment. How about you? I'm talking about you, not somebody you know. Have you ever lost money? Okay, if you have ever lost money, just type me. I have attended their class before. Okay, so I think we have few of us who has lost money to investment before. Now, for those of you who have lost money, do you have phobia for investment? Because I'm trying to address those of you who have phobia for investment, whether the phobia started after you lost money, or you've never even lost money, but you just have phobia for giving people your money or giving a company your money to invest for you. Okay? So how many of you develop phobia because you lost money? Type phobia. I just want to have an idea, because today's class, I'm hoping will deliver you from such phobia. You can actually have investment phobia, right? Where no matter what anybody says, you just can't find yourself, putting your money into investment. And let me say this, and this is very important that you take serious. Africans have investment phobia. Majority of Africans have investment phobia. In fact, I can categorically say 7 out of every 10 African you meet has an investment phobia. And this is part of the reason why the poverty rate in Africa is bigger. Okay, whites have a higher risk tolerance level, right? They take more risk. White people take more risk. Maybe difficult for them to trust you, but if they trust you, they take more risk, right? Now, people from other, who are also people of color, Latin Americans, Hispanics, Asians like Indians and Chinese, okay, they take more risk as a community. So what do I mean? You might not find an individual Hispanic take as much risk when it comes to investment, or find a Chinese, but they come together and then take risk collectively. Indians come together and then take risk collectively. That's why if you're in the UK or in the US, you see that a lot of the malls are owned by Pakistanis, owned by Indians, owned by Chinese. In the US, you see that a lot of these malls are owned by Chinese in the US, right? They come together. In those cases, it's not even one individual taking risk. They take risks together as a community. But we blacks are scared to take risks either as individual or either as a community. Is this making sense at all? Right? And this is the reason why many of us end up not enjoying wealth and prosperity. And we can complain, we can blame it on colonial masters, we can blame it on many things, but we have to face the truth that we have a phobia for investment. And I'll give you an example. A gentleman was to do an investment with us, and then he's asking me to convince his lawyer. And I remember telling him, I said, it's not my job to convince your lawyer. If I have no business with your lawyer, okay? If there's any time your lawyer has to talk to me, then he has to probably also talk to my own lawyer. It is the duty of lawyers to be skeptical about you investing. There is no land I've ever bought that my lawyers didn't warn me against. Guess what? Including land that it was my lawyer that brought it. A lawyer will bring you a land deal and still warn you that, yes, I know the seller and I'm saying maybe you can buy it, but hey, there's no guarantees. I can't vouch for anything. If it doesn't go well, don't drag my name into it. Yes, I've had such experience. So many of us who want our lawyers to make investment decisions for us, first of all, you've made the biggest mistake. Let me tell you where your lawyer comes in. When you have done an investment or you're about to execute an investment and there is a contract to be signed, you can give your lawyer to advise you, okay, on certain clauses around the contract. That's where you need a lawyer. But lawyers are always, and it's their job, okay, they are always anti-risk. Come on, everybody, I want you to type this so that this can sink in. Any professional lawyer is anti-risk. Everybody type it. Any good lawyer is anti-risk. That's what law is about. It's the same thing. Any good accountant is anti-risk. Come on, guys. I need you to type this because you guys are not typing, because I want this to sink in. Any good lawyer is anti-risk. Any good accountant is anti-risk. Okay? So, and they are doing their job. Hence, where they come in is helping you to look at the contract you're signing. Sometimes my lawyer will point out and say, this clause in the contract may go against you. And I'll still tell my lawyer, well, the other party told me about it and I'm still going ahead with it. You say, well, but I've done my job to bring to your notice that there's this particular clause and the clause may not favor you in future. And I'll say thank you to my lawyer because he has done a good job. So most of us do not understand this dimension to investment. We don't understand this dimension to business and to taking risk. Number two thing I'm sharing with you today, and what we're discussing, overcoming the fear, okay, of losing money through passive, investment. Number two thing I want to share today, and I think is very, very important, is that nobody becomes rich without taking risk. Let me say it again. Nobody becomes rich without taking risk. Nobody becomes rich without taking risk. And I want you to write these quotable quotes. Everybody type it here. Money is a reward for risk taken. Please, everybody type it quickly. Money is a reward for risk taking. Everybody type it. Money is a reward for risk taking. You are as rich, okay, as your risk appetite. Okay, because there's no opportunity to make money that does not come with a risk. There's no opportunity to make money that there's no chance that you lose the money. Okay, so but you have to take it. A lot of my friends used to say, oh boy, you know, that I respect your guts, you know, and your ability to take risk. And I would say, well, thank you, but honestly, I've analyzed it. It's riskier not to take risk, particularly considering where I'm coming from. My own children, for example, it would be wiser for my children not to take risk, because I will have built a massive empire living for them, and all they need to do is to manage what I've built. But when you are a first generation wealth creator, don't ever forget that you have to take more risk. If you are second generation, you can afford to take less risk. So I'll give you examples of what you can understand. Dangote is a bloody risk taker. I've never seen someone taking the kind of risk Dangote is taking. Right? Starting that refinery at the age he started was a very big risk. Okay? Projects like that were something Dangote should have done when he was maybe in his late 30s or early 40s. Okay? But yeah, Dangote took that risk. Right? But guess what? And this is very important to know. Dangote's children, if they are the ones who take over his business, do not need to take his kind of risk. Oh, I hope you guys come. If you enjoy this, just type I'm enjoying this. Dangote's children do not need to take his own kind of risk, right? Because Dangote is the first generation, at least, even though his uncle was rich and he worked for his uncle, but for him, the name Dangote, he was the first generation wealthy, right? His children will be second generation wealthy, and they don't need to take as much risk. They just need to manage what, you know, their dad has done, you know, take a more reasonable risk level and just keep growing the portfolio. So number two important thing we must learn is that you cannot become rich without taking risk. And anything you're doing comes with risk. And how many of you are professionals here? If you're a professional type, I'm a professional. What I mean by, if you're a professional, you work in an organization, you know, you're a lawyer, you're an accountant, you have your PhD, you're a professional. Okay, everybody type, I'm a professional. If you're not a professional, it means maybe you're an entrepreneur. You don't have any type of job. The only thing you do is run your own business. So if you're a professional, just type, yeah, a broadcaster is a professional as well. Right? Now, this message is even more important for you. As a professional, you have a blind spot. And your blind spot is what? I hate risk. You have a blind spot, and I'll tell you why you have that default blind spot, right? It's default. The reason is because in your life, okay, you are working, for example, your salary is almost guaranteed. Whatever happens, you get your salary. Me now, as an entrepreneur, my own salary is not guaranteed. Am I making sense to you guys, right? Okay, we must get results. So I'm paid for, and I say this often, and people don't get it. Your wealth is a function of how you are paid. So let me break this down. Your wealth is a function of how you are paid. Poor people are paid for their time. Rich people are paid for results. Your wealth is a function of how you are paid. Anytime you are paid for your time, there's a cap on your income. Let me repeat it again. Anytime you are paid for your time, there's a cap on your income. But anytime you are paid for the result, there's no limit to your income. In fact, it's usually a percentage of the result. So it just changes the dynamics. For example, if you're a property agent, right? Most times you are not on fixed salary. Okay? But guess what? When you then seal a deal, the deal can earn you a commission that is what you're supposed to earn in 5 years, and you will earn that in just 1 month. If you comprehend what I'm talking about, type I comprehend, right? I know a man who used to struggle, and when I say somebody is struggling, struggle. He didn't have an office, and here was he trying to have a breakthrough in the oil sector. He didn't have connection. He had just left the UK, returned back to Nigeria, and was trying to close an oil deal. But no connection, nothing. And this guy was barely, living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, there's no paycheck anyway. So he was really struggling. And true story, one day he kept going to a particular person who he wanted to fund his oil deal. And by stroke of luck, he got a call from the person. The person asked him to come. True story. And the person was even asking him, do you even have an account in Nigeria? Because he had just returned from the UK. He didn't even have an account. And he was about to do a $70 million deal. Does not even have an account. Can you believe that? By one stroke of luck or the other, the person still called her banker, opened an account for him. They funded the deal with $70 million. Cut the long story short, this guy moved from zero to doing over $20 billion in crude oils, in refined petroleum sales in 1 year. $20 billion in petroleum sales in 1 year from zero. So you see what I'm talking about, the fact that poor people are paid for their time. I come to work, pay me my money. Rich people are paid for results. But guess what? That one-time result can be a game changer that just turned their life around forever. And that's typically how a lot of people became very rich. I hope this class makes sense. If it makes sense, just type, it makes sense, I comprehend, I'm enjoying this. I need to get your feedback, guys. Is this making sense? Okay? Are you learning something? I need your feedback. I'm holding my phone tight because I'm told here in London they just snatch your phone, snatch your wristwatch. So, and I'm honestly disappointed because London used to be a lot safer, right? It used to be a lot safer. But back to my conversation. So it's important to understand that, in our breakdown of this conversation, you have to take risks to become rich. Now, how do you overcome the fear of investing, of passive income, of, giving somebody else your money, giving a company your money, and then waiting for them to give you passive income? We've established in the previous training I've done that there are two major ways to become rich and become financially free. You either become financially free by owning a company, okay, that runs with a system, a company that can run with or without you, and it will take some years, minimum 10 to 20 years, for your company to move from being self-employed, employment company to now becoming a conglomerate that can run without you. So that process also takes time, and there's no guarantee. The data shows that 70% of businesses crumble in their third year. Okay, so you're talking about only maybe 10%, less than 10% of companies will ever become big enough that they can run without the founder. The second way to become rich, right, is through passive income. In other words, you have to take the risk of going to buy shares. You have to take the risk of buying crypto. You have to take the risk of, doing venture capital, looking for a new company, and then you buy some equity in them when they were still small, and watching the company grow, and you earn something. You have to take the risk, right, of doing what we call RE, Real Estate Investment Trust. Okay? REI. So one of those things has to come for you to become rich. So how do you then overcome the fear? The first thing is knowledge. Everybody type knowledge, of investment knowledge. Come on, everybody type investment knowledge. You have to start the journey today of reading books on money, reading books on investment, going for seminars on investment. That is the beginning. The beginning is not actually investing. And this is where a lot of people miss it, particularly people of color. You see people saying, oh, you know what, if I buy books, then where will I get money? The only money I have is even for this seminar. Then where will I get money to ultimately be able to do the investment? I said, forget it. Ultimately, everybody scales with OPM. Ultimately, everybody scale with OPM. I don't care how beautiful the investment for that investment to ultimately go to a level where you're building multi-million dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of billions, like the Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of the UK, right? He's worth, allegedly, I don't know how true, he's worth over 800 million pounds. Some people say he's even worth over 2 billion pounds. Whichever it is, the guy is stinkingly rich. Do we agree? Those of you who are in the UK, do you agree that he's rich? Right? Now, and by the way, what gets more people angry is that he doesn't pay tax, even though he says the whole thing is in his wife's name, because he's in a trust. And we'll talk about trust another day. Okay? How the rich end up not paying much in taxes, even though they have a lot of money, because they set up trust. And that's what Rishi Sunak and his family did. They set up a trust, and with that trust, they are not paying much in taxes. There's nothing you can do about that. Okay? But the lesson here is that what you need to start investing in is in the knowledge of investment. So I have a question for you, right? When last did you buy a book on investment? Okay? Can you tell me the date? When last did you buy a book on investment or money, or, a book that taught you about money and you read it? Please tell me the dates. The second question I have for you, when last did you attend a paid seminar on money or investment or real estate? So the first question, when last did you buy a book on investment or money? The second question is, when last did you attend a paid seminar where they were teaching you on real estate or teaching you on money or teaching you on finance? When last did you do that? Because this is really where the problem is. Okay? A lot of us want to be rich, okay, but we don't want to learn how to be rich. And unfortunately, they don't teach you how to be rich in the university. If they do, your professor will be the richest. Has it ever occurred to you? Sometimes I see young people say, Dr. Stephen, I'm doing my master's in UK. I say, wow, that's good. Dr. Stephen, I'm doing my PhD in the US. I said, that's good. Then I ask them the next question. What is the ultimate goal of your master's or of your PhD? And then they tell me, oh, Dr. Stephen, that's simple. I want to be rich. And then I say, okay, so you're going back to school to have master's, or you're going back to school to have PhD so that you can get a job, so that you can become rich. But how rich is your professor who has even gone beyond PhD? How rich is your professor? And it's amazing how we do the wrong thing over and over again and expect a different result. If learning how to be rich and financially free comes from the tertiary institutions, Your professors will be the richest. All over the world, professors will have been the richest people in the world. And you and I will have said, oh, Professor Wale Soyinka is worth $20 billion. Instead of the way we talked about Dangote, right? And Dangote, we're not even sure of which university he went to. Okay? We're not even sure which university he went to. But the guy is worth over $20 billion. Meanwhile, all the professors you and I know, okay, they are not even worth $10 million. So that should have, educate you to know that, oh, first of all, my mindset is probably wrong. My analysis is wrong. So how do you learn about money, about wealth? You have to learn it informally. Everybody type it so that this can ring well. To learn about money, you have to learn it informally. Everybody, come on. I need you guys to type. Remember, I love the engagement. To learn about money, you have to learn it informally. Meaning you have to go and meet somebody. You have to go and meet somebody who is rich and informally learn from them. The Igbo tribe, they do a particular concept, which is an apprenticeship model, where a young man goes to work under an older entrepreneur, and he worked for him for 6 years learning the trade. And after 6 years, the older entrepreneur just gives him a token, usually a token. 10 years later, the CEO apprentice has built a major empire. That is how wealth is created. That's why you see a lot of the Igbos are not even as educated, but they are richer, right? One of my mentors, Dr. Cosmos Maduka, will always say that I may not be able to speak good English, right? My English may look as if you are using cutlass to cut it. And he tells me, I love mathematics. Mathematics is simple, but English is just difficult. But he always ends it with, but guess what? I have people with masters, people with PhD working for me despite my standard 3 education. So the lesson here, you must budget every year. The portion of your money must go towards sitting down at the feet of richer people and learning about investment. A portion of your money must go towards going to Amazon and to websites and buying books of people who have been able to move from zero to hero. I started our company with just $10, right? Today we've built an empire. We've built an empire in 4 continents, okay? Control real estate assets worth hundreds of millions of dollars today. And was able to do that by being intentional, learning from those who are richer than I do. And I still do that till today, right? I still sit with richer people than I do, whether they are white, whether they are blacks, whether they are of the same faith, whether they are of different faiths, even people you call racist. I sit with them and I'm learning, right? Money doesn't know color. So you can be arguing and say they are racist and you can call them names. As far as I'm concerned, money doesn't know color. They are rich. I want to know what is in their head, and I will humble myself, and I'm learning. So you must invest in getting materials from those who are wealthy. Now, somebody just raised the question. The problem is how to meet rich people. That's not the problem. The problem is that you've not read books from rich people because they put it in their book. Somebody says that if you want to hide a thing from a black man, put it in a book. If you have read my book, okay, Billionaire Habits, and I encourage you to get it on Amazon, Billionaire Habits. And the book chronicles habits of wealthy people, their habits, they're just because they listen, if you do the same thing, you get the same result. So the first thing when you meet rich people, you say, how do they think? How do they reason? What are their habits that I may not have that has helped them to build wealth the way they've done? Okay? And in that book, I even shared how you can connect with any rich person in this world, including myself. I shared in the book how I met Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is an American real estate investor, has controlled real estate asset over $5 billion. I shared how I met him. I shared how I met, and it's not just about meeting, right? I shared how I strengthened my relationship with rich billionaires, okay? And the habits I learned from them that I practice myself, and that is helping me to build a multi-billion-dollar corporation today. Okay? In the next 5 years, we're going to be, doing transaction worth over $1 billion every year. But I had to buy books from those who have done it. I had to go for seminars of those who have done it. Then later on, built a one-on-one relationship where they invite me to their house. I go with list of questions and I'm asking them those questions and they're giving me the answers. But let me just give you a teaser here. No rich person will grant you one-on-one access to them for free. They want to sieve out the serious persons from the unserious ones. Everybody is meeting wealthy people and is saying to them, can I book a meeting with you? Can I have a session with you? Can I meet you, sir? So how do you separate the serious one from the unserious one? The ones who are willing to pay for wisdom. The Bible says, buy wisdom, sell it not. Right? Buy wisdom, sell it not. So it's important to know, if you're really serious about wisdom, if you're really serious about knowledge, you have to put a price on it. How many of you went to your university and then told your professor, dear professor, you have to be a good man, you have to be a good woman. I need you to allow me be in this university for 4 years and I'm not going to pay anything. How many of you did that? They're going to kick you out of the school. So if tertiary institutions that don't even teach you how to become rich, they only teach you how to make a living, okay? Right? How to get by. That's what you learn in the university. Because you go to university, then you get a job, and that job definitely can make you rich. Nobody has become rich through job. Nobody. Larry Page. But you say, how about people in Microsoft? Larry Page, all of they eventually got equity. What made them rich was that their position in the company, okay, allowed the company to give them some equity. Like Microsoft now has over 6 billionaires who were different from Bill Gates. Okay, but at some point, due to some contribution they made, they were given equity of Microsoft. Over time, the equity grew and they became multi-millionaires. Some of them became billionaires. The same thing happened with Alibaba, right? At some point, Alibaba gave some shares to some of the workers, and one of the women, who used to be like a secretary, she's extremely rich from those shares. But nobody has become rich through salary, including those who earn $1 million a month. You know why? The day you start earning $1 million a month is the day you start buying houses, living in houses that are worth millions of dollars as well. You start buying cars that are worth hundreds of thousands. So what ultimately happened, you start sending your kids to certain kind of school, your expenditure rises up to the $1 million salary you're earning. So ultimately, like Warren Buffett puts it, wealth only comes through passive income. Your ability to make money while sleeping. Your ability to make money without doing any extra job. And when that compound, we call it compound interest, you then become financially wealthy, because what happened? You have a machine, technically, that keeps bringing money for you without you doing anything extra. Okay, so number one, you have to read books, go for seminars, and I want to thank those of you who are honest enough to tell me that you've not been buying books, you've not been attending seminars on money. You must get at least. Now, how many of you will commit to this assignment, right? How many of you will promise me to buy 10 books on money and finance before the end of 2024? If you are promising me that, just type, I promise you I will do that. Okay? And not just that you will buy it, you will read it. How many of you are promising me 10 books on money, 10 books on finance? You're going to buy them and read them this 2024. Anybody promising me that? Okay, if you're promising me that, type, I promise. Someone is asking how much. I don't know how much. You can go to Amazon, you see the ones I've written, and you can buy, but I don't even know how much Amazon is selling my books, because I have over 40 books on Amazon. So, but not just me. There are other authors who have taught on money, taught on finance. You should buy that of other authors too, not just my own books, right? Number two assignment I want you to promise me, if you are really serious about becoming wealthy and, becoming a great investor, is to promise me to attend at least 4 seminars between now and December, okay, where you're going to learn about finance, you're going to learn about money, you're going to learn about real estate. 4. How many of you are promising me 4 seminars? Paid. I don't want free ones. Because what you don't pay for, you don't value. And that's another thing we all need to learn. As human beings, we are wired to only value what we pay for. So you must be intentional about, learning to do things that require you to pay for it. So right now I'm going for a seminar with Grant Cardone next month. It's $30,000, but I'm paying. Okay, by September I'm going for another event. It's going to cost me. The training is for another 2 years. It's for founders of businesses, right? And I will pay $150,000 for the next 2 years because I'm taking 3 classes and each class is $50,000. But guess what? Aside the knowledge I'm going to get in those kind of trainings, the quality of relationship is also powerful. And that takes me to number 2 ways to overcome phobia of investment. Surround yourself with new set of people who are investing. The reason why most of you are scared of investing, have never invested, is because all your friends are also scared of investment. How many of you will be honest with me? And I really want honesty here. Just be honest with me. Have seen an investment opportunity and then you told your friends, oh, I saw this opportunity, I'm thinking, should I invest? And your friend says, do not invest. Come on, talk to me. How many of us have had that? If you've had that, just type, I've had that experience. You saw this opportunity, you called your friends and said, guy, there's this company, I can buy their shares, or there's this company, I can, invest with them, they'll give me this money. And then your friends say, In fact, the stories they start telling you were stories of other people who have lost their money. Come on, talk to me. Be honest with me. I don't know if you've had such experience. Right? Now, let me tell you how you will know that you have the right set of friends. If you have the right set of friends, who they themselves are great investors, who they themselves are experienced investors, when you call them and say, hey, I saw this opportunity, I want to invest, if they are not sure that it's the right investment, they will tell you, oh, you know what, I have 3 other types of investment like this that I've done, and these guys are legit, I got my money, so call this number, they do this type of investment, they can help you out. Call this other number, they do this kind of investment and they can help you out, because they're already doing it. But what many of us don't know, like they say, birds of the same feather flock together, because all your friends don't want to invest, they are not serious about investment, okay, that you want to now become an investor, they will discourage you from even doing it. They will find a way to tell you, oh, don't do it, or you lose your money, and create some mockery. Okay? And create some mockery. So you have to be intentional. That's number 2 way to overcome investment phobia. Build relationship with people who are already investors. And that's why you then need to attend seminars where people have come to invest. That's because somebody said, I don't have such friends. You don't have such friends because you've not attended a seminar on money. Because if you had attended a seminar on money, you will have connected with people who are also starting that journey of learning about money, learning about investments, and the two of you will start the journey together. You and the people you're meeting in those seminars can start comparing notes. Oh, how far? Have you done anyone? Which one did you do that worked? Okay, can I try it? People will advise you. People will give you counsel based on what they've done. Is this making sense, guys? If it's making sense, just type, it makes sense, it makes sense, it makes sense. So, number 2 ways to overcome investment phobia: surround yourself with friends who are great investors. How I overcame the fear of investment is because everybody around my life now is an investor. They may not be taking as much risk as I am taking. Some take more risk than I am taking. But I can assure you that because they are investors, they are not discouraging me. The only thing they will say is, Omo, I wish I can have your kind of boldness or braveness. But they are not discouraging me to say, be careful, oh, don't invest in that thing, oh, you need to be careful, oh, and then tell me a lot of bad news about people losing their money just so that I won't invest. So that's number 2 strategy to overcome the phobia of investment. Number 3 strategy is to work on your greed. Everybody type, I will work on my greed. Now, I can't take all your questions, so send me a DM. If after this class, if you have questions for me, just send me a DM, because I can't take your questions so that I can wrap up. Okay? Number 3, very important, very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Number 3, make sure, and I kind of emphasize this, make sure that, thank you, Lord. I cannot overemphasize this, guys. Thank you. So, what is number 3? Let me see if you guys are following me. What is number 3? So that I can see if you guys are following me. What's number 3? What's number 3? I mentioned number 3 now. Number 1, buy books, attend seminars, okay, on money and investment, right? Number 2 that I shared is with other people who are investing. Okay, all your friends are poor. I've said it over and over time. If you have 5 friends and they all are poor people, you'll soon be the 6th poor person. But if you have 6 friends or 5 friends, they're all rich. Even if you're a poor person, it's a matter of time, you also become rich. So your income is average of the 5 closest people to you. The more you start building relationship with friends and people who are rich, the richer you also become. So your focus has to be, I want to have friends who are rich. I want to have friends who are doing well. And you have to be intentional about that. Number 3, overcome personal greed. You have to know that we human beings are greedy by default. We're greedy by design. Okay? And you have to make a conscious decision to overcome your own greed. A lot of people will tell me, Dr. Stephen, I invested somewhere, they cheated me, these people are scammers, they are this, they are that. And I'll tell them, I said, it's not the people that is the problem. You were the problem. You were greedy. And I say, how do you mean I'm greedy? I'll be like, how realistic was the returns they promised you? You could use your own brain to analyze what they promised you. You could use your brain. Somebody tells you that you can invest with their company and they will be paying you returns every year, every month. The first thing, if you are not greedy, is to say, how can a monthly returns be guaranteed? Because anything can happen within a 30-day cycle. Okay? Anything can happen within a what? A 30-day cycle. So if these people are telling me they'll be giving me returns every 30 days, how guarantee is this? You didn't ask that honest question. Right? At the end of the day, you lost your money. You are now looking for who to blame. But you are the problem because you decided to put your money in something that was what they were even promising you wasn't very realistic. And you could have discovered that if you were just not greedy. Right? Greed blinds our reasoning, right? Our ability to be able to just reason and say, am I sure what is being promised is doable? No. They can do it now. They will do it. I'll get it. No issue. Right? So you are not even doing proper analysis. You were just after what you want to get. Okay? So you have to work on your greed level. People who have worked on their greed level don't lose money. Okay? To a lot of this Ponzi scheme. I have never lost money to a Ponzi scheme in my life. Because first of all, if it's a Ponzi scheme, I already know it's a Ponzi scheme by myself, by my calculation. Number two, if I now decide to do the Ponzi scheme, I know that I have to quit that Ponzi scheme quickly, right? I have to get out of it on time. If I don't get out of it on time, I will ultimately lose. So if I even put my money in a Ponzi scheme, I already know that the Ponzi scheme will soon crash. And before the Ponzi scheme crash, my money is out. Anytime I put my money, for example, into crypto or forex, it's timed. I look at the period, is there going to be a bull run here? Okay, how long is the bull run going to last? For example, Bitcoin is on a bull run right now. Cryptocurrency generally is on a bull run. Question, how long will this bull run last? So I go for trainings. I connect with friends who are very experienced with it. You see, part of what we have talked about earlier, the place of friendship, the place of the right people. And I ask questions. And once I'm able to get a good timeline, I know that I'm putting my money between this period and I'm cashing out. Okay? And I'm out of that particular investment. So you have to work on your greed level. And I don't care how higher the thing is going. When is the time that I'm analyzing that this thing will soon crash any 60 days or 90 days from today, I pull out. If the thing now still goes way higher, I don't care. I have made up my mind. I was pulling out at that time. And I'm out. Are we learning? If we're learning type, I'm learning. Overcome your greed level if you want to stop losing money to investment. Okay? You have to overcome your greed level. You have to stop being greedy when it comes to investment. So all this one that you will not do any investment except they are giving you 40% in a year. You will not do any investment except they promise you 50% in a year. All this, any investment I must do, they must be giving me return every year. Overcome your greed level. You are the problem at this point. Because now you are being greedy and you're finding yourself putting money into investment opportunities that will fail. And they will fail. Because the higher the returns, the higher the chances of failure. The lower the returns, the lower the chances of failure. It's just the way business works. Right? We're doing a project now in Houston. It's going to take the next 7 to 10 years. Right? We're building over 400 housing units in Katy. It's going to cost $150 million. And I'm raising investors. And all the time, you see people reach out to me and say, Dr. Stephen, hey, I like your investment. I like the KT thing. I want to put my money, but the returns is too low. And I'm like, yes, it's too low because first of all, I have never, defaulted on investment. Even when I lost investors' money, I eventually still look for money elsewhere and pay them back. Go ask people who have invested with me. So when I know that this thing, I'm promising you a guarantee returns, I cannot give you returns that is ridiculous because then it's still a risk. Business comes with a risk. Even though, yes, a real estate is backed by land, even the land has insurance, and by the time we start construction, there's insurance on the construction and all of that. There's institutional backing and all that. Yes, but it is still a risk. So when you see investments where the returns will be guaranteed, the returns will be lower. And am I asking you to only do those type of investment? No. I'm saying diversify. Don't put all your money into high risk investment. Don't carry all your money and put it into crypto. Put it into Binance, Abi, or which one do you people use? Right? Don't do that. Put some money there. Be open to the fact that the money you've put in Binance, in crypto, or in Forex, you can lose all. Be conscious of that. Sort it out in your heart before you even put your money. Okay? And then put some other money into something safer, like a real estate investment, like the ones we always do, right? Where the thing is backed up with a land. So when an investment is backed up with a physical asset, the chances of losing money is lower. Are we learning, guys? If we're learning type, I'm learning. So if you want to overcome your phobia of investment, you want to overcome the fear of losing money to passive income real estate, you need to work on your greed level. Work on it. Everybody's greedy. Don't come here and tell me, oh, me, I'm not greedy. It is a human nature to be greedy. Okay? It is human. You are not better than Adam and Eve. Yet they were greedy. Adam and Eve had the tree of the knowledge of good. Okay? And they had as many of it to eat. But they were greedy enough to still go and eat that of the knowledge of good and evil. That tells you how greedy human beings are. It was the one that God said, don't eat this one. The devil was able to convince them. And the devil only convinced them because it is the human nature to be greedy, to be self-centered, to be selfish. I'm not saying everybody is selfish. There are some people who have worked on their greed level, and that's what we're teaching, who have worked on their tendency to be selfish. There are some people who are so kind, generous, selfless, but they worked on it. It wasn't like they were born that way. People had to work on themselves to say, I refuse to be greedy. I refuse to only go for high-risk investments that the chances of me losing all my money is very high. Okay? We'll continue this series tomorrow. But how many of you have gotten value today? Come on, talk to me. You got value. You are happy about today's session. You've learned something powerful. You've learned something that will change your life forever. Come on, show some appreciation. Okay? I've always said this over and over again. Gratitude is the secret to greater success. When somebody adds value to you, acknowledge it. Africa lack hero because we don't celebrate them until they die. Everybody else say the man is a good man. When he was alive, did you encourage his goodness by identifying the fact that he's good? I don't need to teach you all this for free. These are things I charge for. I run a one-on-one coaching program as high as $20,000 per person because I also paid people to know what I know today, and I'm still paying. Right? So whenever I come here and I do free classes, free session, I think is worth appreciating. Do you think that? So thank you so much. Remember, you can go to my YouTube channel, Dr. S. Akintayo on YouTube, and subscribe. I have over 2,000 videos there. So if you think you love this, you're going to even see greater things you will love. Greater things that will change your life forever. You're going to see it there. Dr. S. Akintayo. Go there. I promise you it will be one of the best library you've ever invested in your entire life. And make sure you subscribe. Make sure you put on the notification button so that anytime we're doing live sessions like this, there's so much for you to learn. And you can just learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. Okay. I want to thank all of you for joining. Those of you who want to invest with us, just send me a DM. If you have as much as $10,000, $30,000, $100,000, $1 million to invest, we have safe, secure investment opportunities in the area of real estate, in the UK, in the US, in Dubai, in Nigeria, and Africa. We have as many, and it's very credible, very secured types of investment, and we can talk about them. I love you all. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye-bye.